Let's count down the top 10 best Bionicle and Construction builds. Now, I'm hesitant to say that this is the best ever. Think of this more as a spotlight on MOCs that work really well from a character and techniques perspective. And to be fair, I spoke to a lot of different people about this list. I put a bunch of calls out for suggestions on multiple different places on the internet. So this list is based off my opinions and the larger community's thoughts. But hey, there's so many incredible creations out there that could totally be on this list. It's unfair to say that these rank above any other creation. Plus, everyone has their own personal preferences on what makes a MOC a great MOC. This is just a list of really cool stuff. Don't take it too seriously. Anyway, let's begin with the number 10 spot. We'll begin things with a stunning lineup of Toa Mata revamps by Lamel24. What is so impressive about these revamps is that Lamel has managed to keep the exact same iconic early Bionicle aesthetic. You see all kinds of different revamps out there that take these beloved characters and put them in a brand new direction, and personally, I love seeing that. But yo, revamping something and perfectly matching the same vibe of the original, and finding a way to arguably make them even better than the original design, that is a tough thing to do. But heck, they did it, and they did it well. I mean, first off, look how posable these figures are. The original Toa Mata sets, they didn't even have elbow or knee articulation, but these do. Look at these incredibly detailed torso designs, using things like minifigure hands and minifigure arms to replicate the same type of shape and high levels of detail that the original Mata torsos had. But this is giving it a fresh and exciting new look. These are just such incredible revamps, and according to DeviantArt, these MOCs were posted back in 2013. And I still see people talking about these MOCs on a pretty regular basis. They, for sure, have left an impact on the community, and still do even today. This is just some really high quality work right here. Oh, and then check out this image here that showcases how Tahu's head design was made. Always good to see a peek behind the action there. Lovely stuff. In the number 9 spot, we move over to a truly delightful MOC. This is Year of the Pig, and it was built by King Marshy. Dude, this MOC is just layered with all kinds of character and personality. Yeah, from the adorable face to all of the clothing decorations, to their large belly. This character really comes to life in such a fun way. And they can also pose pretty well too, and posability always adds a lot to a MOC. Good to see. But without a doubt, the coolest part of this MOC are all of these clever part usages that are included everywhere on this creation. The face design here, it uses a 1x2 tan Technic brick for pig nostrils. Then using tan flags for the ears, using a tan Krana mask for the top of the pig nose, great idea. Even using masks for shoulders or a large tan dish for a belly. Everything here is so well made. But the real standout here, all of these food items. So much clever part use going on here. Krata pieces, then below it, a medium blue Pakari mask, using that for a bowl? Great idea. And then we've got another Krana being used over here, and actually we can see a couple more being used in this image, one in between the chopsticks there. Such a good idea. Even this table here is magnificent. Yet whenever I think of the concept of nice part use, you know, using pieces outside of their original context and coming up with a really clever and different way of using it that feels just perfect for that piece. Whenever I think of that concept, I think of this MOC, because every single part of it is an NPU. So yeah, nice part use, great character design, what's not to love? Sliding on over into the number 8 spot, this MOC is called Vodos and it's built by VB. I had a lot of people suggest this MOC for this list, and I totally get it. This is a prime example of modern Bionicle MOCs. You got your incredible armored textures using a lot of CCBS pieces. And then also, you look towards some system pieces. We got these sick animal tails in pink, as well as some other tubing parts too. I mean, how good do these pink and purple areas look? The cool juxtaposition of bright colored pieces looking like internal organs. And then everything else being a lot more cold and clean armor. That's awesome. I especially love this foot area down here, the nice accent of blue on the feet, all these other greebled pieces down below, and then the way that leads up into the upper leg, insanely cool. This is a very well crafted MOC. It's a shining example of good texture work, excellent color blocking, and just really good character design. Now in the number 7 spot, we'll move over to a MOC by Andrew Steele, and this one is called Gallo. Andrew is incredibly good at crafting some of the most unique looking creature builds ever. He somehow manages to capture this beautiful animalistic and menacing vibe on every creature that he makes. It's always so clear and well executed. And what makes it even better is the fact that they are very large MOCs. For reference as to how big this MOC really is, Take a look at this face design. See those vinyl pieces that are kind of like ears on this head? So these originally came on this Vikings set. This one right here. You can roughly compare this to the minifigure that's just on the boat there. So I guess this piece is maybe like 2 minifigures long, maybe 2.5. I'm just judging by eye, but that's more or less the case. Now let's look back at this mock. Yep, it's not exactly small, is it? Now, a trap that I see a lot of system and Bionicle builders fall into is that when they're building, they make a huge mock. And because a large creation requires a lot of different pieces, they'll miss out on a bunch of details, and as a result, the mock will just be big for big's sake. But when you look closer and you study the intricate workings, well, there's not much that's going on that's all that exciting from like a techniques perspective. But that's not the case on this mock at all. Look at these hands, using red flipper pieces from old diving minifigures to create webbing between the claws. Look at this eye design, a golden pupil with a red outline around it. Even the dark blue tail pieces around the edges of the eye, they really give it shape and make it look a lot more evil. Look at this back design with heaps of spikes everywhere. Look at this layered armor with a bunch of dark blue Technic panel pieces. It's a glorious mix of what looks like layered armor, as well as like reptilian scales. Andrew has packed in all sorts of great building techniques and a lot of clever ideas into this build. It's just a sight to behold. A brilliant blend of Bionicle parts, system parts, and Technic pieces. He's got all the bases covered. I love this. Over to number 6, we have a build from the very talented Jack Frost, and this is a revamp of Lava Beast. Let's take a quick look at the original Lava Beast set, and now over to this mock. It's safe to say it's one of the best upgrades of a set that I've ever seen. It looks like the final boss from a video game. I mean, look at this incredible layered armor on the tail and the leg. It looks so clean and so crisp. It even resembles qualities of like volcanic rock, looking all cracked and broken. Then you got this awe-inspiring fire halo on top of the head, and to top it all off, it's incredibly posable. The way it squats down like this, I don't know, I just never expected it to be this posable. Some of these other positions it can get in as well, magnificent. Look, I won't go into too much detail about this mock because I have done a whole other video where I talk a lot about this mock. So if you want to hear more thoughts on this, go and check that video out. Alrighty, halfway through now, let's move over to a real beast, a big boy. This is Cosmos, and it's built by the insanely talented Reganalian D's. You know, this is the kind of creation that would pop up when you'd go onto Google as a 10-year-old kid and you'd type in awesome Bionicle mock and you'd take a look at all the images that pop up. And then you'd see a creation like this, one that blew your mind and changed your entire outlook on life. I mean, look at this, the majesty of these wings. The magnificent highlight of translucent colors along the neck and the belly, the white horns and wisps on the face. The tail even has some of that as well. You know, this is the kind of dragon that you see in fairy tales of old, or in some kind of like myth and legend or a D&D campaign. It's the type of beast that has so much like history and lore behind it that they have to be huge and impressive to look at because they have to measure up to the legacy of the amount of story behind them. I don't know if this mock actually has any story behind it, but still. It has presence, it has legacy, it's awe-inspiring. And you know this mock is good because it's currently on display at Lego House in Billund, Denmark. It's in the Masterpiece Gallery, which to get into the Masterpiece Gallery, that's no easy thing to do. Lego has to contact you. So you've got to be a really, really good builder for them to say, hey, come and bring one of your models to Denmark and we'll have it on display for a whole year. Now, I was lucky enough to see this beautiful creation in person when I was there last year. Oh, it's utterly awe-inspiring to see in person. It's a sight to behold. And you know, these images make it look good, but seeing it in person, oh, it's even more beautiful. Book your tickets right now and go to Denmark just to see this. It's worth it. The number 4 spot now belongs to one of my personal favorites. This is Boreal Vixen by Wormy World. But Ben, this is like the 5th time you've spoken about this. You never shut up about this. Yeah, because it's amazing. Wormy World is a builder who has perfected the art of making realistic animals and creatures with system and Bionicle pieces. And this is my favorite amongst everything he's built. Using the Strack Ice Shoulder piece for fur, genius. The way he's used those Protector of Earth masks and the Protector of Ice masks, and then weaved them together to create this beautiful tail. Wow. Everything is so realistic and so well crafted. Wormy World is the best of the best. Down to the final 3 now. The 3rd best mock on the list today belongs to the work of a mocking master. This is Mitch Builds and his revamp of Maxilos and Spinax. To me, this mock is like when your favorite band puts out a song and you're like, oh man, this is the best thing ever. And then another artist releases a cover of that song and you're sitting there thinking, Good luck topping one of the greatest songs of all time. You'll never improve upon it. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh, this is really, really good, and it might even be better than the original. That's this mock. Because the set, Maxilos and Spinax, one of the best of all time, and would easily be in my top 10 favorite Bionicle sets. It's so peak. But Mitch somehow took a perfect set and made it even better. I mean, look at Spinax. This larger, bigger design for this dude, reframing the body to look a little bit more animalistic. These cool glowing spikes, the lights, the wires. Wow. And then Maxilos, giving him incredibly robust looking armor and also details like pistons on his torso. Heck yeah. And then refining that shoulder blaster, putting wires and tubing everywhere else on the arms and the legs. This is beyond cool. Again, this is a mock that heaps of people suggested for this video, and they were right to suggest it. It's so good. If you haven't, by the way, go and check out Mitch Builds on YouTube and go and watch his breakdown videos on both of these two builds. He makes good videos, it's worth the watch. Over to the second best mock in this list. This one is called Cancer, and it was built by Moko. This mock is like a masterclass in texturing. Look at this back. I mean, holy cow. The repetition of these red Viscerac body pieces. The same ones, of course, that came on this set. Placing so many of them together like this to form this kind of crab shell. Wow. And then placing lots of these dark red stone pieces that came on the Hero Factory set, Pyrox. You can see a bunch of them being used on their shoulders here. Yeah, these two pieces together, they pair so nicely. And the way that Moko has arranged these parts is so satisfying and so masterful. They all just kind of blend together into this one big mass, and everything just stops looking like Lego pieces and starts looking like a big weird crab dude. And this foot design, using Kalmar armor so that the dark red beautifully transitions into black and leads into these claw pieces. Genius. And heck, the unique texture of this Kalmar armor, it blends so beautifully with the Viscerac and Pyrox parts that we see up top. Moko did so well at picking out just the right pieces here so that everything and every single part of this mock looks unified and every texture is consistent. It's the work of a master right here. The mouth even moves up and down, the pincers, they open and close, and there does appear to be some level of posability on this guy. Just insane work, some of Moko's best. Although, I don't know, Moko builds a lot of good stuff. Everything he makes could have easily been on this list. Okay, here it is, the number one spot. Again, a lot of people recommended this one for the list. I see people talking about this all the time. Heck, I've even had total strangers who know nothing about Lego come up to me and say, wow, isn't this the coolest thing ever? This is a mock built by the insanely talented artist of the generation, Joxon, and it's called Haugsvod the Purifier. I mean, it just looks extraordinary. That head design alone is one of the best heads ever. Eyes made out of Lord of the Rings ring pieces. Teeth using the classic bushing pieces that had the notches in them. All the blades around the face make it look so fearsome and menacing. Incredible. And then the glorious weapon, a blue flaming mace of some kind. Or perhaps it's some kind of ceremonial magic orb. Whatever it is, it's rad. And how good do those translucent flames look surrounded by a bunch of spikes? Great colors and a great look. But the texture on the body, using a lot of macaroni pipe pieces. Wow. And then turning the mock around. This texture using a lot of these claws and Exoforce robot arms as well. Combine that with the black pipes below it. This is a sight to behold. Some of the best texturing ever. It's a mind-blowing bend of really organic pipes and tubing mixed in with really solid and sharp knight-like armor. You know, Joxon's understanding of shapes and how they flow into each other is second to none. The way he manages to pour in so much character and so much personality. The way he takes all kinds of average pieces and turns them into something extraordinary. Very few people can do what Joxon does. He's in a league of his own. You know, that's the funny thing too. Any mock that he's made ever could easily be in this number one spot. But a lot of people adore this build, so I'm gonna put this one in here. This is a true masterpiece. So there you go, guys. That's the end of this top 10 list. You know, like I said before, there were so many incredible mocks out there. Many of them could have easily been on this list. And people are always going to have their own ideas and their own unique opinions on what makes a mock good. And I want to respect that as much as I can. So I hope you enjoyed this video as simply just a way of looking at some really cool stuff. No competition, no this is better than this. Just looking at stuff and saying, hey, check that out. These are some cool mocks. They've brought me joy, they've brought others a lot of joy, and they've inspired heaps of people. And that's a good thing. So let me know some of your favorite Bionicle mocks that weren't in this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get a discussion going in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.